Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Please smash that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. It helps get the word out. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everyone's favorite TikTok. And don't forget, check us out on Reddit as well, and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
We got Winnipeg Jets talk brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. We got CFL talk, NHL talk, NFL talk. But let's start off like we always do with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are visiting the Hamilton TiCats, who are not good at home. They are 1-5 at home, and they are 4-2 on the road.
That's surprising, eh?
They've only scored 100 points at home.
Wow.
Like, I don't know why this has been being made a bigger deal. There's something wrong with that team that they can't win at. See, it'd be better if it was win at Iverwood, but it's Tim Hortons Field. But whichever way, is this a big trap game for the Bombers? What do they have to do to beat the Hamilton TiCats?
Yeah, it's kind of like a trap game like last season's game, eh? It's the same time. Right after the Banjo Bowl, Winnipeg, big win over Saskatchewan, went to Hamilton and it ended up getting blown out, kind of. I know the score ended up being closer as the game went on, but Hamilton really laid it to the Bombers in that one. So, they're aware of that. That's already in their heads. The coaches are probably already talking to them. Hey, guys, this is what happened last year. You came off this game. Like, you're coming off this game against Saskatchewan where you had 263 yards rushing, 340 yards passing, over 600 total yards, and you're flying high. So they got to come back down a little bit, head out to Hamilton. Not forget or remember that they got pummeled last year in the same situation. Hamilton gave up 200 yards almost to Ottawa last week. So right there, you're looking at Oliveira, who's coming off a wicked game against Saskatchewan. Use Oliveira, pound Oliveira into that Hamilton D-line, and rack up some yards rushing. And, that'll help settle that offense down and get them off to a fast start again.
I can't ignore this Duke Williams thing. It's an issue on the team. How can you have someone I'm out and it not be an issue in the locker room? They're prime for the pickings right now. And if they do take that running game, they could take their soul early. Nothing humiliates a team more than being run on early in their face.
Yeah.
And this is a team like they allow teams to run 125 yards against them per game. They should be able to run against this team successfully. But with that said, they have to lock down Tim White. Yeah. Dude is a beast. On 12 targets, he went 7 for 180 with 2 touchdowns. They have to lock that guy down, and they can't underestimate Powell.
Yeah, and that's one of the other things. Get after him, man. Don't let him get settled, because we've seen the Bombers let these quarterbacks get settled. Dole Gala, even with Crum, I know they had him and he had basically nothing in that first half, but they kind of laid off and he kind of got settled and got into rhythm in that second half. They have to get after these young guys and throw them off their game quickly, right? Powell's looked good. I know it was just Ottawa. And again, Tim White again, it's just Ottawa, but they look good and Powell seems to be getting better every week. So don't let him get into rhythm, get after him, and throw him off his game.
Anything else they got to do?
You know what? The only thing is right now is just that. Jeff Goat's questionable for this game. Hopefully he plays. But yeah, that D-line will have to get at it. James Butler, they'll have to be aware of him because he's a good player, good rusher. I know that the Bombers D has been way better at, not giving up a lot of run yards, but Butler's a very good player. So keep aware of him and keep on him.
They got to cover kickoffs better.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
Like Tyrell McAllister, who plays for Hamilton, he's, I think, the best kick returner in regards to average. He's averaging about 28 yards, even more per return. And these are guys who have returned the ball more than 20 times. So they got to lock that guy down. And they're starting to use him more on the offensive side of the ball as well. I think he got 4 receptions for 40+ yards. So that's a weapon they also have to watch with a lot of speed.
Yeah.
They will give them trouble. And of course, you mentioned James Butler, and not just in the running game. Like, he is a good receiving threat. He's 4th in the league in yards after catch in regards to receiving, just ahead of Brady Oliveira. So they have to lock him down and lock him down in the passing game as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Players to watch in the Bombers.
Just going back to that running game, Oliveira. And like I said, Hamilton's given up a lot of yards on the ground. Devonta Williams, what did he have last year? Or Devontae Williams?
140 something, I think.
146, yeah. So, you should have a pretty good game here from Oliveira. I would expect, if they're giving up that much. So Oliveira, he's been on display all season and he's been, wrecking it out there and playing lights out. So I expect more from him this week again.
Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah. And he just took over last year, right? And everyone was like, oh, God, why are we getting rid of Harris? Is Oliveira going to be the guy? We were debating this last year, too, if Augustine was going to be the guy, right?
For sure. I wanted Augustine to be the guy.
Yeah. And then Oliveira has just stepped it up, and he is just lights out this year. Like he has taken it to the next level, at running back and still a young guy. He's going to get paid in this offseason, but the Bombers would be dumb not to pay him. So let's see some more.
I'm sure he wants to stay home as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be some give and take there.
Yeah.
Speaking of hometown, I'd like to see Nick Dembski on the Bombers have a big day. He's due for a big game. It just feels like he's ready to have a big game. Not that he's not been a factor. He put like 108 yards or something like that against Saskatchewan
the week before
the Labor Day. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think he's ready for another big game. He's a top 10 receiver in the league, and it's crazy. Percentage of targets wise, he has been targeted 61 times, 50 receptions. That's 82% of his targets being caught. There is no one even close in the league until like number 31. And they're like 84%. And that's because they have less targets, but that's insane. 82% on 61 targets.
Then he was quiet last week, right? Did he have one catch only last week, I think? Something like that, right? So, a quiet week for him. So, this is probably his breakout week. Not breakout week, but, comeback week kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think DeMario Houston will have a big game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to forget. They might over-focus on Tim White and forget about how dangerous DeMario Houston is. I think Primetime North is going to have a big game on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and he's been quiet. Not quiet stats-wise, he's quiet, right? Like he's still doing his job out there and locking guys down and not giving up yardage. But he had 7 interceptions, right? Fairly quickly. And now he hasn't had anything really for the last few games. So, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I'm sure quarterbacks are also being like, I ain't going to throw that guy.
Yeah.
Not today.
No.
Players to watch on the TiCats.
I'm going to go one more Bomber. Jamal Parker had a good week last week returning, taking over both duties kind of thing. So I expect him. He's another guy to watch and get that field position good. He seems to be getting better and better every week at returning these as he's getting more comfortable. So he's a guy for me to watch and help, maybe flip that field position if it's not working for the Bombers. So hopefully he can have a good game as well.
Yeah, there's some people who are critical of them using him as a double dip on the kickoff and punt returns, but he fared fairly well.
Yeah, good week for them last week.
Players on the TiCats to watch. I'll start on the defense. Jameer Thurman. If they can't get their hands on him, he'll make it difficult for the running game. Reminder, Hamilton's one of the worst teams against the rush, still allowing just over 125 yards per game. But if the Hamilton D-line plays good, and we know there's talent there, and like I said, if they can keep hands off of Thurman, he can cause some problems for the Bombers in the pass and the rushing game.
Yeah, that whole front seven, you look at that whole front seven from Hamilton, they got some good guys on there, right? Casey Sales, Laurent, Lawrence, Thurman, and you're thinking, okay, they should be a lot better than what they've done. Yeah. It should be a lot better than what they've done so far, and especially against the run, but they just haven't been getting it done. But you always have to be aware of these guys no matter what. And that's the group that I kind of have. I know it's just one player, but I have about that whole group of front seven that the Bombers have to be aware of because you never know. They could wreck a game. They got good players. So, get at them and drive. And that's what I'm saying, Oliveira, tire those guys out, so then you can open up a bit of the passing game or you just keep pounding Oliveira, whichever.
And everyone always plays hard when the Bombers are in town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. Like we've talked about it, right? How many slow starts against these bad teams did the Bombers have?
Yeah.
Right? They let these teams linger and stay around. And this is that same situation. So now it's like you got to put Hamilton away quickly and early.
Yeah. They got to bring some of that Banjo Bowl juice that we talked about. Bottle that stuff and bring it on the road with you.
Yeah.
What does Hamilton have to do to win? They're the worst team, I think, or second worst team in regards to giving up the big play in the league. Don't give up the big play and don't let Bombers extend drives with penalties. If they can do that, they might stick around.
Yeah, penalties would be huge. Like a lot of teams, and you go back and it's a lot of Media and fans from other teams are saying the Bombers are always getting, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, that the league is favoring the Bombers in these situations.
Whatever.
But it's like, no, when a guy headbutts another guy, that's him taking a penalty, not the league dishing that out, right? Yep. So yeah, Hamilton definitely has to lay off the penalties, get the ball as much as you can into the hands of Tim White and let him do his thing. And don't forget about James Butler, like we talked about it earlier. He is a shifty fella back there. So you get the ball in his hands and see what he can do as well.
No, they won't forget about James Butler. That's crazy.
Not that the Bombers won't, but Hamilton might, depending on how this game gets. You never know. But they have to remember
being a dual
there.
threat like that, they have to feed. Bomber fans, put your thoughts below. This might be one of them trap games. Got to be careful. Critical questions for each team. Let's go starting with the West. BC Lions. How much will losing Lacombo hurt the Lions defense? It has to hurt. He's an amazing athlete. Never mind that he's a Canadian as well. So that's a double loss there. He's a 2021 most outstanding Canadian. He's fresh off still playing at a high level. So, and he's a leader on the team. We'll see what Josh Woods can do at linebacker, but that's going to be tough.
Well, considering that BC's D has not been as good as they were at the first half of the season kind of thing, right, lately. So, yeah, that's a big loss for them for sure.
Yeah.
Montreal Alouettes. Are they even good? At this point, I'm going to venture on the side of not really. They're 0-6 against the top teams. They get to face again Toronto again this week. Maybe they'll catch them this time or play a little bit better. But right now, they're in the right division. Really, they're in the right spot.
Yeah, I would still take them to beat Calgary and Edmonton, though.
Yes, they're the probably. Well, we'll see over the next once they stop playing Toronto and Winnipeg and BC.
Yeah,
they're probably the better of the bottom 6 teams, right? But not good enough.
No.
But hey, once the playoff starts, you never know what happens. Just got to get in.
Edmonton Elks, can they keep the hot streak going? They are 3-1 in their last 4 since they dropped the huge lead to the Bombers. Saskatchewan is coming off that ass kicking, so they might be pretty pissed. But we saw Winnipeg run all over Saskatchewan, and Edmonton has a crazy good running game. I think they were over 250 last game, maybe over 260 with Kevin Brown and Trey Ford. Shoot. So, yeah, can they keep the hot streak going in Edmonton?
Yeah, Saskatchewan they're playing Saskatchewan, aren't they?
Well, I don't mean location where they're playing. I'm talking about the team.
All right, then. The run game, Kevin Brown and Trey Ford could cause some havoc for Saskatchewan. It'll be interesting to see, man.
They cause havoc for everyone. My goodness.
Toronto, what plan of action will they take after they wrap up first this week? That's a lot of season left. What do you really have to play for at that point when you've locked up first in the East? You're going to host the East final. It's going to be hard. Like we thought the Bombers last year when they clinched first, which was a little bit later, what were they going to do? If Toronto does it this weekend, it's like, wow, that's a lot of season left to try and figure this out and how to keep guys engaged. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, you play to win the game, and they're professional athletes to go out there, but you don't want to get anyone hurt.
But do you also don't want to
strategize that?
Yeah, you don't want to rest Kelly completely because this is really only his first season playing.
No,
do you really want to rest him going into the playoffs? Right? It's going to be tough.
This is, by the way, not a Toronto Argos jersey. This is Barry Sanders, Detroit Lions. So don't even start, y'all. Calgary Stampeders. They have the week off. So can they figure out how to stop a running game? Because they're the team that got smoked by him, 226 yards. They got to figure it out in Calgary. Like if it's not one thing, it's another in Calgary. It's tough.
Well, yeah, and you're running out of chances here, right? I mean, if Edmonton can beat Saskatchewan, it makes things a little bit tighter. But Calgary have to win a game. Well, they win one, they lose one, right? So they should win this week. Oh, they're not even playing this week. They're on a bye this week. Never mind.
That's what I said. They have the week off.
Yeah, sorry.
Someone's not listening to me when I'm talking.
You're talking? Next. Are you talking?
Yeah, I'm always talking when you're not.
Hamilton, will they beat the Bombers like they did last year after the Banjo Bowl? I'm gonna say no. Because I think the Bombers will be more prepared. and the coaches will have them ready and remembering from last year what happened. So, plus, I think Hamilton is kind of worse than last year, I think, right?
Oh,
So,
for sure.
so yeah, I expect the Bombers to come out on this one in Hamilton. They'll be still hanging on to that last playoff spot after this week, but it won't be a good week.
It's got to be frustrating being a TiCat fan at this point in the season. Oh man.
Well,
Ever
especially
since Bo Levi.
yeah, and but exactly the moves they made, right? Not only Bull Levi, but the guys on defense, the guys you brought in. You know, like you were expecting a way better season, and all you've done is beat Ottawa 3 times, Edmonton once, and BC somehow. So,
Man.
yeah.
Saskatchewan. I have a theme for these past 2 questions. Can they stop the Edmonton running game? Because if they can't, that's true. If they can't, then I think it's game over for Saskatchewan. So can they stop them? They had trouble with Winnipeg's running game.
Yes, they did.
Even Johnny Augustine hit a hard one, hit a long one, whatever you want to call it. So
yes, Saskatchewan is already back on the plane by then. They were done.
see.
Ottawa, can they make a run and make things interesting for that final playoff spot? No. BC this week, that's going to be a tough one. If they can somehow pull off a miracle and beat them, hey, I'll give them more props and I'll say they have a shot. But it's not looking good for Ottawa anyways at this point, and hopefully they can finish this season strong, at least show something for Bobby Dice, give Bobby Dice another chance next year. And we've talked about it too. They need more personnel. They need better players in this team. So I feel for Bobby Dice, Kahari Jones, and all that. So
yeah,
hopefully it ends well. Better.
Cheering so hard for Ottawa in the East.
Yeah.
Oh man. Winnipeg, can they bring that energy they had to start the game last week into this week's game? We covered this already in regards to Hamilton getting any kind of momentum, sticking around. You know, I'm just hoping they start strong. If they start strong, I think I'll put the feet up on the recliner there and pour myself another one because I think it'll be good. But if they start slow, then I'll be worried.
And they've started slow against bad teams a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like they just can't. I don't know, with a veteran team like they have, you think they'd come out of the gates better, but maybe it's just going through the motions sometimes that they know, hey, we're making the playoffs. Chances are we're in the West final. You know, we just got to win one game to get to the Grey Cup, kind of. And it's just like maybe that's in their head sometimes. But yeah, I'd love to see them just come out and full force and beat Hamilton down.
Let's go into CFL quick and dirty predictions. Argos, Owls, who do you got?
I'm going to take the Argos. I have no faith in the Owls being able to do this, even though Curly Gittins is on the 6-game injured list. Like we talked about, a win here for the Argos. They clinched first. They have gone 4 straight games without allowing a sack Toronto. And I go back to you, actually. This is the one thing that actually got me to think here. Remember when we talked about this when the Argos were, I guess, 6-0, right? And you said your cousin Larry said the Argos have never been 7-0. Well, the Argos have started. Yeah, they've never been 11-1 before. So they've been 10-1 before and then lost that other game. So that had me pause and think that they are going to possibly lose this game, but I still can't go against them. I'm going to take the Argos.
Should I take the Owls just for fun now? Because that bit me hard last time. Yeah, I know. The football gods, they're so funny. They're so funny. But yeah, okay, then you know what? I will take the Owls because of that.
Yeah.
I had the Argos in capitals in bold, but you know what? That stat, let's have some fun. I'm going to run with that. I'll play pro line. I'm going to take the Elks because of the football gods and goddesses. Elks, Riders. I'm going to take the Elks because they're hot. That was going to be my upset of the week because it was happening in Saskatchewan, but I'll just take it 2 upsets then. I'm going to take the Elks on the road.
I'm going to take the Elks as well. They've kind of in the first 2 games against Saskatchewan, they kind of got unlucky. They were leading. They've only lost both those games by combined 5 points. So, and they were leading that second one late, and then Saskatchewan finally got a good drive. So, if Trey Ford can limit the turnovers, the interceptions, if Brown and Ford could run all over Saskatchewan, I think Edmonton's got a pretty good chance here, and I think they'll take it.
Bombers, TiCats, who you got?
I got to take the Bombers in this one. Even though, again, it's on the road, you know, last year's blow and all that stuff, I think Winnipeg will come out and take this game.
I got the Bombers as well. Red Blacks Lions. I got the Lions. Red Blacks just
Yeah.
find ways to lose. So even if the Lions are bad, I think the Red Blacks will find a way to lose. That's
Yeah.
just the way their season's going.
That's pretty much it. As much as I'd like to see Ottawa win this game and help the Bombers out, it's not going to happen. This one could be a blowout as well. I've been calling BC games blowout for a while and it hasn't happened, but this one probably will be.
Are you just calling a blow up because you're cheering for Bobby Dice?
A little bit.
Alrighty then.
Don't tell anybody.
I won't, viewers and listeners. Let's move on to some Jets talk. Brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, or on the field with a custom airbrushed helmet or goalie mask. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions for any project, like those crazy hats. Wouldn't you love to have those for a Bomber game? Oh, those will sell. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431. Tell them Ray and Benny sent you. Let's talk about the prospects tournament coming up. Not necessarily a tournament. Let's just focus on the Jets. Which prospects are you excited to see? You want to start? Should I start?
Yeah, I'll start. I'm going to start in goal because I'm excited about these two guys. I'm going to mention both of them at the same time, but because one position, but the two guys that they have in Dom DeVincentis. I'm Italian and I can't even say his name. DeVincentis, and Thomas Milik as well. But DeVincentis, he's already started off in the OHL, stopped 54 of 55 shots in an exhibition game, playing with the North Bay Battalion. I want to see how he stacks up against some of these guys. And then Thomas Milich, who, helped Canada win the gold in the World Juniors, and one of the best goalies in the major juniors. So we'll see how he can do.
WHL goalie of the year.
Yeah.
5-0 at the World Juniors. 923 save percentage. 1.76 goals against. That dude's going to be good. And he's a small goalie, like 6 foot, but he can cover that net. He's an athlete, and he lasted to the 5th round.
Yeah, and that's where he kind of gets screwed because he's only 6 feet.
Drafted 151 overall. I'm also excited to see Thomas Milich play. And, of course, I want to see that pick, Colby Barlow. The kid, the man boy with the mustache. Insane. Highly touted that shot. We hear about this crazy shot. He can shoot from anywhere, pick anywhere in the net and hit it. So I want to see. And they also mentioned this man boy thing's not just about the mustache, but physically, he's probably one of the most NHL ready prospects of that draft class. So let's see. He should not dominate in this tournament, but physically, he should be able to handle the other players in this tournament. So I'm really excited to see him. And of course, Brad Lambert. Oh, I want to see that guy play.
Yeah, I think Brad Lambert, he didn't have the greatest tournament when they did this last year. So we'll see if he's improved. That guy's just got, I was reading an article about him, and it was saying he's from the Athletic, and he's the most electrifying player that should be at this tournament. Struggled last year, so we'll see if he stepped up and grew a little bit into his role and got better over the last season.
Anyone else you want to see?
Yeah, the same guys as you, Colby Barlow. Excited, like you said, he's a man child or whatever, right? So be good to see what he does, because he's one of the pure goal scorers that got drafted in this last draft. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And Chaz Lucius, coming off an injury, been struggling with injuries over the last few seasons. So want to kind of see what he does out there as well.
How about that Chibrikov? I want to see this Russian speed.
Yeah,
is he Russian, or he played in the Russian? I think he's Russian.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is Russian. Yeah,
I'm very intrigued to see about that. Even though a lot of his game is, we'll see. Jets fans, who are you excited to see in the prospects tournament? Let's move on to some NFL talk. Aaron Rodgers, what should the Jets do moving forward? Your thoughts?
Right now, I think you got to give Zach Wilson at least a game or two and see what he can do. If you bring in a veteran right away already, there's going to be questions if Zach Wilson can handle it. He's going to be looking over his shoulder. So give him a couple weeks, see what he can do. Good thing that Jets D is good, so he doesn't have to go out there and try and win games on his own. But if it goes flat fast, I would be looking for a veteran guy pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't know about this rumblings about Colin Kaepernick, but I am not waiting to sign a veteran. No way in heck. Because if it falls flat on his face and you have 2-3 weeks where other teams start losing quarterbacks, no way am I going to wait till maybe Matt Ryan or Carson Wentz or what other quarterbacks are out there. So I tell, go get Matt Ryan. Guy's been in the league long if he's physically ready and wanting to, obviously. Guy can learn a playbook a lot faster than Carson Wentz will. He's not as injury prone. He can be a steady veteran presence for Zach Wilson because, you got to prepare for life without Aaron Rodgers, 39-year-old with an Achilles tendon injury. So I think you have to sign a veteran. You cannot wait to see if other teams have injuries or need another quarterback. You got to sign one.
They got Dallas this weekend too, so it'll be a good test right off the bat for Zach Wilson if he can play against a top D in the league.
Good test, but not a fair test because he didn't have all training camp.
That's true.
I expect a disaster.
Oh yeah. Good thing their D is good, like I said.
Let's keep talking about this Aaron Rodgers. NFLPA calling for grass on the heels of a Rodgers injury. Sure, yeah, grass is better, but to use this Aaron Rodgers injury as a catalyst for another discussion on it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. This was a contact injury where he had a linebacker draped on him and his leg planted, and it's because of the weight of the player on him. So this is not the hill or whatever the cause. Aaron Rodgers' injury has nothing to do with turf or grass. So I think it's ridiculous that they're bringing it up now and not when other players who are less prolific stars than Aaron Rodgers have gotten hurt with non-contact injuries. I think it's ridiculous.
But that's the one thing that may help it is because a guy like Aaron Rodgers ended up getting hurt. And like you say, it wasn't a non-contact injury. He wasn't running, his foot got stuck in the ground or whatever. He got tackled. So, J.K. Dobbins ended up tearing his Achilles as well on a grass field this weekend as well. So, but if you had Aaron Rodgers, maybe this is the catalyst to try and make some change. They're going to switch the fields in these stadiums to grass for the FIFA World Cup, right? So why can't you do it for these football games? The one good thing is the Titans, and I get it, some places are tough to grow grass late into December, January kind of thing, right? But the Titans are trying a new field on theirs. It's a different type of artificial turf. So maybe that's where they kind of get with this if that works out. But they do need to look at it, and they do need to make a better study out of this and figure this out. If grass is better, even in aches and pains, right? Because the turf fields are harder. Why not make that investment and have these guys be able to play a longer career instead? But they know they always got new guys coming in, right? Turning in guys.
They had a long time ago. They knew this a long time ago. Why didn't they do it a long time ago? Now they're trying to attach it to an injury that has nothing to do with the cause.
It's funny because Rodgers actually argued for grass when he was still with Green Bay last November. Like he's saying they should replace the artificial turfs with grass or whatever stuff. And then look what happens.
Well, it wasn't because of the grass.
No, but you just get less give in your cleat, right? In grass, your cleat will give out. And when turf it's stuck in the ground, it's stuck in the ground.
Yeah, but that's not what caused the injury.
It's not in this case, but there is many other cases.
That's what we're talking about. Like, I just think it's ridiculous that the NFLPA is trying to make an argument at this time. Why wasn't this done months and months ago when other players were getting non-contact injuries on this thing?
I know as a Niner
I'm not
fan,
saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying this is not the case that you put it on.
Well, hopefully this is the case that makes it change. They're not going to change. The owners, the only way the owners are going to change this is if the players end up giving up some kind of concession in the next CBA, right? They know what this is a bargaining chip for them later on. They can say, "Hey, we'll do this if you guys give us this." That's the only way it's going to ever get changed.
It would change if this was a non-contact injury to Aaron Rodgers.
Probably still not.
I guarantee it is.
Like you said,
because then there would be
guys.
then there would be but this is a big guy that you're paying lots of money that was supposed to turn around a franchise. If he gets injured on non-contact, I guarantee you it shifts. But to attach it now to this is
didn't Barkley go down on this field? Isn't that how he got hurt a couple seasons ago?
Possibly.
Yeah. So I mean, you had Barkley, he's a big star, big running back, and still went down, and there was no change. So the owners are not changing anything unless
Aaron Rodgers is one of the prime quarterbacks in the league, and this was supposed to turn one of the league's most laughable franchises totally around.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference. Like, unbelievable.
I hope they change it. I'd like to. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. They should have changed it long ago. I'm just saying it's ridiculous that now's the time we need to change it. Give me a break. Do you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing. And you know what? They don't just do helmets. Oh, sorry, what?
Yeah, we have one more thing to talk about. Talk about Fahrenheit brushing. Go ahead.
Yeah, they don't just do helmets. They can do cowboy hats. They can do anything. So check them out.
We're not done with NFL talk. Will Bill Belichick return the Patriots to the Super Bowl?
Excuse me. Depends how long he's going to coach for. The AFC is too stacked for me right now. Like, he's not winning anything probably in the next 5 years, but if he sticks around for 5 to 10 more years, I could see him. He's a great coach. He gets this Patriots team always playing well every season. So I don't think so, like now or anything, but maybe in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I think his reign, the evil empire, is done. When you have a generational quarterback like Tom Brady, who went to another city and won a Super Bowl after starting a season horribly, Bill Belichick doesn't have it. Sorry. If you want a great defense, he's there, but I don't think he's going to lead another team to a Super Bowl. He can give you 20 years. I don't think it'll happen.
You don't think Mac Jones is a generational talent?
No. Do you?
No.
Are you seriously asking that question?
I was just joking around.
Oy, oy, oy. And in the words of LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time. Did you hear that Bill Daly thinks a third team in the NHL would survive and thrive? Do you believe him?
Like, are you saying third, like Atlanta Thrashers team, like Atlanta team? Yeah.
Atlanta team.
No. Why? What's the difference this time?
An ownership group. I agree with him. I think it would. I think Atlanta is a great sports town, and I also think if they have a draft like Vegas and Seattle, that they would be better and they would attract fans. Like when Ted Turner sold the team to that other Atlanta Spirit, they just wanted the arena and the basketball, apparently. So the Thrashers didn't care about that. So I feel sorry for Atlanta, but I think it might do better.
I mean, it's tough to go into there for a third time, but they're going to do it, obviously, because it is a huge market. And if you can succeed in that market, yes, it's great for the league. But yeah. I'm still skeptical of it actually working out.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Denny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.